You see everything from XP Embedded, XP, Windows 7, all the way up to more modern variants of Windows.
So you're saying that the most vulnerable versions of Windows are deployed on thousands of ATM machines across the country?
Yes, you have a lot of ATMs across the country that still run Windows XP.
So the type of vulnerabilities that we exploit initially on an ATM are very common. ATMs are architected a very similar way to a home PC. In fact, oftentimes it may be more vulnerable because of the difficulty in patching ATMs that are distributed across a wide geographic area. Most of the ATMs don't have a support staff that's standing there, and if the bank has to send someone out to each ATM to install software, it significantly increases costs. So they're usually very conservative about which patches and which software they push out. This is the receipt printer, has a standard USB connection, shows up in Windows just like any other printer. You can actually print Word documents on this. The same is true for the safe. The cash dispenser is also just a USB device. We've printed out our own money and stocked it up. Once the ATM is compromised, that's where it gets a lot more complicated. An attacker has to know how to communicate with the specialized devices. Each vendor has a separate set of hardware that they're going to be using. Every piece of software on an ATM has the potential to be a little bit different. So we create our own custom software when we're performing attacks. The attacker can monitor everything that's going on. For example, the attacker can see what's actually displayed on the screen of the ATM and also observe the network traffic. The highlighted text here is the magnetic stripe data from the card. You can see the 4,000 corresponds to the $40 that Charles requested. A lot of people assume that when an ATM withdrawal is processed, the bank issues just a yes or no response. But in reality, it tells the ATM how many bills to dispense. So in the response, it told the ATM dispense 2 bills, but we can modify it as the attacker, change that 02 to a 10 so that 10 bills are dispensed.
Do I need 2 people? Do I need you extracting cash and some attacker sitting in a remote location synced up?
Conceivably, he could do it from right outside the ATM, but it makes more sense because there's less risk to him being compromised if he can send a low-cost criminal employee to go pick up the cash for him. This is us taking control of the ATM. Now notice it goes out of service. Sometimes criminals may not want to put a card into the ATM for whatever reason, and they may just want to dispense money. It's often referred to in the industry as jackpotting. It doesn't even require a card. David is just going to remotely dispense cash. How often they're updated often depends on the volume of usage for an ATM. But an ATM like this can hold over $200,000. In fact, in certain rare instances, they can be stocked with up to $1 million.
And it's very difficult for banks to detect this in the short run.